On the routes between Barcelona, Valencia and Alicante you will find the Euromed trains. These trains will use partially the high-speed line, but also upgraded railway lines along the coast. What it's like to travel on board of these track gauge changing trains? Let's find out in this video. Join me on board of this Euromed train from Barcelona. I will take it to Valencia, but it will continue to Alicante. I'll tell you more about this in the video, but for now, let's get this video on the track and let's roll the intro. Barcelona Sants railway station, the main railway station in the city of Barcelona, the capital of Catalonia and the second biggest city in all of Spain. To go from and to the railway station you find many options, for example the metro, and that's the one I used. Around the railway station at several spots there are plenty of taxi stands and there are also bus stops obviously. Bikes can also be found here, including some bike sharing programs like Donkey Republic. Actually, I'm using Donkey Republic a lot in many countries, but this time in Spain I didn't use it. The railway station of Barcelona Sants isn't a railway station I would categorize as pretty. It's functional though. Within the railway station you will find all the amenities that a modern traveler could wish for. Plenty of shops, places where you can buy some food and drinks, and obviously railway related services. Directions within this railway station have been marked in Catalan, Spanish and in English. There are plenty of ticket counters both for Renfe, the state-owned railway company of Spain where we'll be traveling on today, but also Irio, for example, what is a commercial railway company. There are basically two parts of this railway station. One part that's dedicated to the high-speed lines only, and then you find a part where you find the conventional trains and the Iberian gauge tracks. Basically in Spain you find two different kinds of track gauges for the mainline trains, so the width of the tracks is different. The high-speed lines or on standard gauge tracks like you can find basically everywhere in Europe, and the conventional railway lines or on broader Iberian gauge tracks. Most long-distance trains or high-speed trains, but there are also some trains that are long-distance trains and will depart from the Iberian gauge tracks. So please pay attention on this if you are here. Typically for Spanish railway stations and especially for the high-speed railway stations, there are some car rental companies around here as well. In general, this railway station speaks for itself. Directions have been marked crystal clear, and well, you just need to know what part of the railway station your train is departing from, the high-speed part or the non-high-speed part. What is typically also for Spain, if you're traveling with the high-speed trains, you have to go through security. And there are several access points where you can go to this security area. For the conventional trains there's also something like an area where you need to go through gates, but there's not really security over there. And because you find these two railway systems over here, departure screens are also per railway system. This here is, by the way, the Rodalis. You find also plenty of vending machines for this. And if you're traveling with the Rodalis trains, these trains do not pop up in the international timetable. But they do provide very good international connections to France as well. I do have a trip report on this as well. You can check it out in the description of this video. Obviously there are plenty of spots where you can wait for the train and also plenty of information screens about departing trains, but once again pay attention for what kind of train you have. Within the railway station there's also a hotel, the Barcelona Hotel. You find this hotel group pretty often within the railway stations, especially within Spain. It's actually a really nice chain. They have some really nice hotels, but it's not very cheap, so I didn't stay there. Maybe another time. For now it's about time to go to my train. I noticed at the departure screens that I have to go to my platform via entrance C. That's a little bit at the side, but this is still for the high-speed tracks. Directions to this entrance have been marked crystal clear within the railway station. Well, it's obvious because it's a little bit hidden and otherwise you probably will miss it. By the way, about 2 years ago I did a more in detail review of this railway station. If you want to see that, you can find it in the description of this video. For now, I really go to my train. I took an early train this morning because, well, actually I'm on my way to Malaga for today, and this is not the most obvious way to go to Malaga. Therefore it was still pretty quiet at the railway station. Normally there might be some queues, so just be here on time, just in case. There's a very basic ticket control before you can go through the security, and you have to put your luggage through an X-ray scanner. I mean, it's security, but it's not the security you find at an airport. It's much more relaxed and way faster. Passengers will be scanned with a metal detector. Right after that, you get out at this area over here, where there are plenty of spots where you can wait for your train. There are some coffee shops as well at this point, but somehow they were not accessible from the point where I entered from, simply because they blocked it with some lines, as you can see here. The coffee shop was on the other side of the line here on the left. Anyway, also within this area it has been clearly marked from where my train departs from. And right before you can go to the platform, your ticket will be checked again. So it's really hard to board these trains without a ticket. There are clear screens before you go to the platform that will host your route information as well. And you will find obviously elevators, but also escalators and stairs to the platforms. The railway tracks are located underground within this railway station. It's actually really good integrated within the city, because if you are above ground you don't notice that there's such a big railway station with so many trains over here. And this is our train for today. This is a Renfe class 130, or also called S130. And this is a high-speed train made by the Spanish train manufacturer Talgo. These trains do have a top speed of 250 km per hour and are capable to travel on both the standard gauge tracks, or the high-speed lines, but also on the broader Iberian gauge tracks. And especially in the past, the trains that were capable to change the width of the tracks, so the track gauge changing trains, were mentioned as Alvia trains. But nowadays you also find them as Euromed and even sometimes AVE trains. And the AVE or AVE trains in Spain, these are basically the high-speed trains of Spain. But you find more than just that. When it comes to this, Spain is a very interesting and not always that clear country, to be honest. Today we'll be traveling on board of a Euromed service. And Euromed entered commercial service in 1997 along a 523 km route between Barcelona, Tarragona, Castellón, Valencia and Alicante. Since 2020 these trains are being used for this route. And because these trains can also use the high-speed line until the railway station of Tarragona, the travel time can be cut a lot as well. The exterior of the train doesn't host that much information about what facilities can be found where. Apart from that, you will find screens and also numbers right next to all the entrance doors, and these screens will host the route information for the train. So carriage number, train number, final destination and stops along the way. Basic icons like for example where the accessible area of this train is, or marked at the side though. Because this is a Talgo train and Talgo is using a special technique, the length of the carriages is quite short. And this train will be both pushed and pulled with an engine. This is located at the back and at the front of the train obviously. Tickets for these trains do always come including a seat reservation, and ticket prices are based on demand. So full is full. If you're traveling with Interrail, well, in Spain that's a challenge, and that's the least I could say. For now I think it's about time to board the train. And for this journey I was traveling in first class. Simply because it's a bit easier to film. And also at the moment I've booked my ticket, the price difference is really small compared to second class. You find two kinds of first class tickets by the way, one that comes including meals and one that doesn't have meals. I was traveling with the one without meals. That was a bit more affordable. I hope you like this video so far. If you do so, or if it's a helpful video to you, please give me a thumbs up, I really appreciate that. If you'd like to see more trip reports about more sustainable ways of transportation, the main focus for this channel is cross-bordering and long-distance traveling, then hit that subscribe button if you haven't done this already. If you have any comments, some feedback, questions, Let me know in the comment section. And for now, let's continue with this video. A little bit later along the journey, I did a walkthrough of the train. And for now, I just start with show you the interior of the train. At the very end of both sides of the train, you will find the engines. There's even a special room for an onboard technician. And as you can see, these carriages are just really small. There's obviously a lot of space for your luggage, because this is a long distance train after all. Let's do a toilet review. I mean, no train tour is complete without showing you the toilets. And this is how the regular toilets are. In general, they are pretty good. You can also use them as a diaper change facility if you're traveling with a little kid. If I put down this thing over here. But this one here was really unstable. I don't want to put my kid on here, so a thumbs down for this. But apart from that, these toilets are totally fine, to be honest. During my ride, the toilets were also clean, what's obviously most important, and everything worked. Basic maps of the carriages, including some safety information, are located at the vestibules of this train. Over here you also find some litter bins and, for example, fire extinguishers. As you can see, there's a lot of space for luggage. Apart from these dedicated luggage racks, there are overhead luggage racks throughout the train as well, where you can store quite a lot of luggage as well. Second class or Tourista, what you see over here, comes in a 2x2 configuration. Well, let's do a seat tour. The leg room is actually really generous. You can recline the seats with this button at the side, and if I fully recline them, I still have more than enough leg room. Most seats do come in driving direction. There is a small food holder in the seat in front. That was a bit hard to take it down, but eventually it worked. And there's a sturdy fold-out table located in the seat in front of you. This is also a good size actually. Right below that there's a magazine rack, and a small litter bin is located between the seats. An onboard entertainment system is located within the seats. This was with a 3.5mm plug, although I didn't test it out. And right under the seats you find power sockets. There's one power socket per seat, what is really generous. To be honest, I think this is a really good second class product. What I haven't showed you, by the way, at all seats you find a small reading light, and all windows do have a sunscreen. The seat numbers are located right next to the luggage racks, so you know what seat you have. This comes in row number then A, B, C and D. I really like these trains. You find information about their routes, so basic information like the speed, final destination and the day, at small LED screens at the end of the open compartments. And apart from that, you also find screens at the ceiling, and movies will be played here during the ride. You can connect a 3.5mm plug audio on the entertainment system to have the audio for the movies. This is something you find pretty often on Spanish trains. But there's more than this. There's also a Wi-Fi that includes an onboard entertainment system. I'll show you more of this in a bit. Well, this is the rest of the second class. In general, you find seats that do come in an airline style composition or a long distance bus seat composition, but there are some bay seats at one side of the carriage, so seats that are facing each other. Basically, the last and the first row of each carriage in Tourista or second class. These seats cannot be turned around. Between the first and the second class, so between Tourista and Preferente, you find maybe my favorite part of the train, and this is the dining car. Although calling it a dining car is not really worth it. It's called cafeteria over here. By the way, if you want to listen to the entertainment system and you don't have a 3.5mm plug audio cable with you, you can also get them on board with this train. They are for free, and personally I don't really like this. First of all, the quality is not really good, and second of all, this really creates a lot of waste. When I went on board with this train, it was rather early, so I went to the dining car straight for some breakfast. At the moment we left Barcelona. It was a bit shaky, can you see? Well, it wasn't shaky for the entire ride, but Talgo is definitely known for having some trains that might be a little bit shaky every now and then. This was not in an uncomfortable way shaky, I have to say. The menu selection in the dining car is reasonable. Prices are also okay. Let's move on to the first class, or Preferente, where I was traveling in as well. And this comes in a 2x1 configuration. The seats are wider and you have way more room in general. Depending on the kind of ticket you've booked for this class, Meals are included as well. The meals are suitable for the time of the day that you're traveling in, obviously. And what I noticed, the food looked really nice. For now, let's do a seat tour in Preferente or first class. You have more than enough legroom. It's even more generous than in Turista or second class. There's a sturdy folded table in the seat in front of you, and right below that there's a magazine rack. Right under that you will find a food rest, and you can adjust this as well a little bit, not too much though. At the side of the windows you will find a reading light right above the windows and below the luggage racks, and this is also where you find the seat numbers. All windows do have obviously a sunscreen as well, just like everywhere in this train. It's really nice, the space is a bit more generous. You also find the accessible area within this area of the first class. And let it be no surprise that close to the accessible area you also find the bigger accessible toilet on board of this train. Well, this is how the bigger accessible toilet is. It's really spacious, but well, not really special. Most importantly, and this also counts for this toilet, just like all the other toilets I noticed on this train, they were clean during my rides and they were also kept clean. The diaper changing facility over here, well, felt a bit more sturdy, but it wasn't that impressive to be honest. Free Wi-Fi is available. If you download the Play Renfe app, this also links your mobile device to an onboard entertainment system with movies, magazines, etc. And for the last bit of this video, I'll just show you some views from the train along this route between Barcelona and Valencia. After Valencia, the train continues its way to Alicante. I'll get back to you at the very end of this video. I hope you liked this video. If you did so, or if it's been a helpful video to you, please give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate that. Like I already mentioned, if you have some questions, even if you want to say hello, some other comments, let me know in the comment section. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet and you'd like to see more trip reports about more sustainable ways of transportation, the main focus for this channel is long distance and cross-bordering traffic, then hit that subscribe button if you haven't done this already. That's it for now. Before we really end up this video, one last thing. Once again, thank you for watching. If you are interested in other videos, of course you can find them on this channel, and you can always subscribe to see new videos coming up as well. Apart from that, in the description of this video on YouTube, you also find a link to a map, and on this map you can find all videos as well, but then on a map. See you on the next one.